Hello students, I welcome you all to this session on EMFT and wave propagation. So today in this session we are going to discuss some numericals based upon EMFT and wave propagation. But before watching this video, I recommend you strongly to watch the previous videos where I discussed the theoretical concepts. So if you have still not watched the previous videos on the theoretical concept, go watch them first and then come to this video, because here I may not be able to discuss all of the theoretical concept. I will be taking directly the formula from the concepts and I will be applying it with the help of the questions. So okay, now we'll be proceeding with the first question. The first question states, point charges of 1 nanocoulomb are placed at z is equal to plus minus 4. Find the force at the charge placed at y is equal to 2. Consider the charge placed at y is equal to 2 has 2 nanocoulomb magnitude. Okay, so now first we need to realize that what is the situation which is present here. Okay, so we have two charges of 1 nanocoulomb at z is equal to plus 4 and minus 4. Okay, so let's suppose this is my z axis. Okay, this is my y axis. Okay, so now here this is my minus 4 point and this is my plus 4 point. So two charges are placed here. Now we need to find out the force at charge which is placed at y is equal to 2. So here let's suppose this is y is equal to 2 and I need to find out the force due to these two charges at this charge. So what is the value of plus 4 charge? It is 1 nanocoulomb. And let's suppose this is my charge Q1 and this is my charge Q2. This is also 1 nanocoulomb. Now what is the charge placed at 2 is equal to y? So it is 2 nanocoulomb. So let's suppose it is Q3 and its value is 2 nanocoulomb. Okay, so now this is the representation of the charges in the space. Now I need to find out the force due to Q1 and Q2 on Q3. Okay, so with direction I need to find out the force. So I will be considering all of the directions as well. Okay, so now if I apply the Coulomb's law, I hope you remember the Coulomb's law. According to the Coulomb's law, force was given by Q1 Q2 upon 4 pi epsilon. So here I am supposing that it is vacuum, so I am taking 4 pi epsilon naught. Now it is multiplied with the unit vector, so here with the direction which denoted by the unit vector. So the direction is given as so now this is my force as a vector quantity. So this is the representation of force in the Coulomb law. I have derived this equation in the previous video where I discussed the Coulomb's law. You can go and watch the video for this derivation. Now here we need to find out this force. What was the direction of the force? It was at the line joining between Q1 and Q2. So now if I am considering Q1 and Q3, force will be along this line only. Okay, so now it is multiplied with the unit vector along this line and I will be getting the direction of the force, or I can directly apply this into this equation. So how I will do that? So force, let's suppose this is my F1. Okay, so F1 will be given as, what are the two charges? The two charges here are Q1 and Q3 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So now what is x coordinate? X coordinate is not there, so I'll be taking 0ax plus what is the y coordinate? It is 2ay. What is the z coordinate? Here for this it is 4az. Now here I'll be dividing it with 2 square plus 4 square raised to power 3 by 2. So now what is the value of Q1 and Q3? Let's replace this also. The value of Q1 is 1 nanocoulomb and value of Q3 is 2 nanocoulomb. So into 10 raised to power minus 18. Okay, nanocoulomb is 10 raised to power minus 9. If I multiply 2 10 raised to power minus 9, I will be getting 10 raised to power minus 18. So I directly put 10 raised to power minus 18. So here F1 is equal to 2 into 10 raised to power minus 18 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Now I know the value of 4 pi epsilon naught. Sorry, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. It is 9 into 10 raised to power 9. Okay. Now it is multiplied with, here we have 2ax plus, 2ay plus 4az upon 2 square is 4, 4 square is 16. So 20 raised to power 3 by 2. Okay. So now we will be putting here and we'll be finding out the simplified expression. So it is 18 into 10 raised to power minus 9 into 2ay plus 4az upon 20 raised to power 3 by 2 Newton. So don't forget the unit also. So this is my F1. So let's find out what is F2. F2 will be on Q3 due to Q2. Okay, so this is my F2. Okay, and what is the direction? Direction will be along this line. So here if I see Q3, so here this is my F2, this is my F1. Okay, so I am having two equal forces acting in opposite direction. So here we have some angle, it's not exactly opposite, so we have some angle and we can find out the resultant of force F1 and F2, which will be the force acting on Q3. So what I can do, I can resolve the horizontal component and the vertical component, or I can I can take the representation in the vector direction and I will be adding all the vectors. So here if I take F2 as a vector, so it will be equal. So here we have the same charges. Charges are 1 nanocoulomb and the charge here is 2 nanocoulomb. Okay, the distance is also same. Distance will be denoted by this vector only. Okay, so unit vector will also be same. Only here I have minus 4. Distance is same but the coordinate has changed. So direction will be changed. So here I'll be having 18 into 10 raised to power minus 9 into 2ay. Here I'll be having minus 4az upon 20 raised to power 3 by 2. Okay, Newton. So here the vector has changed but the magnitude has remained same. Now if I add F1 as a vector and F2 as a vector, I will be getting F as a vector, which is the resultant force on Q3. So F as a vector is F1 vector plus F2 vector is equal to 18 into 10 raised to power minus 19 into 2 into 2ay upon 20 raised to power 3 by 2. So how it came? Because when I added these two values, so plus 4az and minus 4az will be cancelling out and 2ay will be giving me 4ay. So I wrote it as 2 into 2ay and 18 into 10 raised to power 9 will remain same. Okay, this is 10 raised to power minus 9. So don't get confused here. So here I'll be having this as the resultant force. Okay, it is acting in the y direction. So here also I told you that if I have the equal components in the z direction, these are equal components of the force in the z direction, equal and opposite component. So these will cancel out and here I'll be left out with one component which is in the direction of y only. So here also we are getting the resultant force in the direction of y only. So now coming to the next question. The next question states point charges of 1 nanocoulomb are placed at the corner of square of size 1 meter. Find the magnitude of resultant force at any charge due to remaining point charges. Okay, so now again we have to realize what all is given. So I have a square. So this is my square. At the corner of square, point charges of 1 nanocoulomb are placed. So here we have 1 nanocoulomb charge, 1 nanocoulomb charge, 1 nanocoulomb charge and 1 nanocoulomb charge. So every charge is Q. Okay. So now I need to find out the magnitude of the resultant force. Here you must consider this point that I just need to find out the magnitude. So I will be just focusing upon the magnitude. I will be leaving the directions. Okay, so now I need to find out the magnitude of the resultant force at any charge. Let's suppose I need to find out the magnitude of the resultant force at this charge. So I know what are the size of the side. So it is 1 meter, it is 1 meter, it is 1 meter and this is 1 meter. Now what is the distance between these two charges? It will be, so I'll be using the Pythagoras theorem here. This is the hypotenuse. It will be equal to under root 1 plus 1 is equal to under root 2 meter. Okay, so now I know the distance between all of the charges. So I need to find out the resultant charge. What I will be doing? So here, what is the force due to this charge? So let's suppose this is my Q1, this is my Q2 and this is my Q3. Force due to Q1 is F1. So it will be equal to 1 nanocoulomb into 1 nanocoulomb will be 10 raised to power minus 18 coulomb. So it is Q1 into Q2 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. I am supposing that we are at vacuum. So whenever nothing is given, you will be using epsilon naught only. Okay. So now it is multiplied with 1 upon r square. So what is the distance? So it is 1 upon 1 because r square is 1. Okay. So now it is Newton. So it is 10 raised to power 18 into 4 pi epsilon naught Newton. Similarly, what is the force due to charge Q3? F3 is the force due to charge Q3 on the charge Q. It will be again equal to 10 raised to power minus 18 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Newton. So I know now what is Q3, I know what is Q1. Now I need to find out what is the force due to charge Q2. So we know F3, we know F1, F2 I need to find out. It will be equal to 10 raised to power minus 18 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 upon under root 2 square Newton. So it is equal to actually 10 raised to power minus 18 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into 2. Now I need to add these three forces. So F1 plus F2 plus F3 will be the resultant force F on the charge Q. So now if I see the forces, so here let's suppose this is my charge Q. Now what is F1? F1 is in this direction. So this is my F1 force. What is F3? F3 will be in upside direction. So this is my F3. Okay. Now what is my F2? F2 will be in this direction. Okay. So now these are two equal forces. Now if I have to check these forces resultant, so it will be along this line only. And what will be the resultant of these forces? So resultant of these forces can be found out with the help of parallelogram law, and these F1 and F3 are equal. So when F1 and F3 are equal, so its resultant will be given as under root 2 of F1 only. Okay, so if I take both F1 is equal to F3 as F dash, let's suppose, then F1 plus F3 will be equal to under root 2 F dash. So it is the resultant. Now F will be equal to F1 plus F3 is under root 2 F dash. What was F dash? F dash was this 10 raised to power minus 18 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay, now we'll be adding it with F2. What was F2? F2 is 10 raised to power minus 18 upon 4 pi epsilon into 2. So now we can compute it. It's 10 raised to power minus 18 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, which is multiplied with, so here it was added. Okay, so under root 2 plus 1 upon 2. So I can again simplify it further. So here I'll be having 10 raised to power minus 18 into 9 into 10 raised to power 9. It is the value of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So it is multiplied with under root 2 plus 1 by 2 Newton. So it can be written as 10 raised to power minus 9 into 9 into under root 2 plus 1 upon 2 Newton. So this is how I can find out the resultant force. So I hope now you are very clear about the resultant force if I have any geometrical representation of the charges. Now remember that these charges must be the stationary charges. If these charges are moving, then Coulomb's law cannot be applied on these charges. So I hope you understood both of the questions. If you still have any doubt, you can ask the question in the comment or you can directly reach out to me. Okay, thank you so much.